Baby, no listen to no fake news, them can't. Could do all it out and them never fake news. Notice I just be a bad bitch, I get forward from with you. But the one you have be good girl them. Lazy. She never did a features, I rate it. Never did a features, half naked. Me never did a piggy or ratings halfway, that's why me give her ratings. She never did a features, half naked. Never did a features, I rated. Me never did a piggy or ratings halfway, that's why me give her ratings. I know every girl a white material. I know every girl fi get the juice in a me seed bag. I know every girl me trust to cook my food, nor boil my tea in a tea, but put the milk in a the cereal. Me like a catty when me dival. When we wash for cook fi clean and no fuss. When she hear me get a new girl, I know that me mean when me say me fight me demons. Multiple wife legally, no illegal. Yeah, straight, me go crazy. I know every catty can be my first lady. I know every press plus, but he don't pay for plus. Tatiana no fit in and no mercy. When me say, oh luxury dolly fi nurse baby, a trouble when luxury dolly turn old lady. So big up every girl we don't lazy. Your body big, but why your mommy donate it? I rate it. Never did a fi dress half naked. Me never did a fi give her ratings halfway, that's why me give her ratings. She never did a fi dress half naked. Never did a fi dress I rated. Me never did a fi give her ratings halfway, that's why me give her ratings. She now wait pan money for reach her and donation. She make reach her man donation. 101, but the waist gal a tell her fi leave her man, but she stay strong. She know say them are no friends, them are haters. Them sleep with every man in a the acre. Can't get nobody fi stay long and want the advice for relation. Baby no listen to no fake news. Them can't keep a man cause them never stay true. Could do all it out and them never pay dues. Never shut them out and them wicked and cruel, eh? Bag a man a rush but them just a get yours. Everything them have them did a fear blows. Instagram live them nude for the views. Baby that I know you though. Sure, I rate it. Never did a pictures half naked. Me never did a piggy or ratings halfway, that's why me give her ratings. She never did a pictures half naked. Never did a pictures I rated. Me never did a piggy or ratings halfway, that's why me give her ratings. One wish.
Yay-Z, you know the chop. I.S.U.P.K. Badness no sad. Let me tell you how the badness steer. Dopey bad fly when the clock display. Tell a boy say no try box this face. Back switch face. You know how your blood clot casket stay boy. You must see one Baptist prayer. When the map stick raise that thing straight. Shot misplaced. The key them in your head stop misbehave. Crack his face. The key never tell us say we lock this place. Which locksmith anyway watch this place. War with them bunny like plastic plate. Hey, we don't play around. When you see the UPK around, we bring the fucking AK around. AR-15s and AR rounds. We don't play around. When you see the UPK around, we bring the fucking AK around. AR-15s and AR rounds. We no take drape up. We no take bait up, we no stay up. And when the next day come, we no change up. Man, I ask them brothers, them wake up. Take care, boss boy, head top shake up. So tell a pussy world don't violate us. No care where you status, where you take up. Every man a killer till miss a dead face, you straight up. Great stuff, one Westling bigger than NATO. Man we boss it to NATO. Only man we afraid that are the creator, the maker. Hey, we don't play around. When you see the UPK around, we bring the fucking AK around. AR-15s and AR rounds. We don't play around. When you see the UPK around, we bring the fucking AK around. AR-15 and AR rounds. AR-15s and AR rounds. AR-15s and let me tell you how the badness steer. Dopey bad fly when the clock display. Tell a boy say no try box this face. Back switch face. You know how your blood clot casket stay boy. You must see one Baptist prayer. When the map stick raise that lick straight. Shot misplaced. The teeth them in your head stop misbehave. Crack this face. The key never tell us so we lock this place. Which locksmith anyway watch this space. War with them bunny like plastic plate. We don't play around. When you see the UPK around, we bring the fucking AK around. AR-15s and AR rounds.
Yeah. Hey, make me go again. Ah, yeah. Yo. I one west to the dead. Yeah. Fuck everything else. Big boot on me fringes. Girl, I tell me say she love the way how me change it. Everything sign and seal. Then I tell me say she love the deal. Yeah. Big boot on me fringes. Girl, I tell me say she love the way how me change it. If I don't know you pick my youth, me I tell you no straight out. And I'm in business. Yeah. Man, I move real heavy. 20 man, I jump out a couple Chevy. Well, serious. Man, no look happy. Wrong move, turn a boy in a dopey. Them a waste, man. Them a talk about me, but me no care, man. After everything else, me still deep on. Cause the truth, me attack at the truth. And the part, me a sleep on. Yeah. Delivered it off fire. Everything up in the air like fire bonfire. But I can't tell ya how. And I'm a dead soul, let them have to rise in power. Liar, SHALAM. This year one for all my brothers and my sisters. We get caught off early. Big boot on me fringes. Girl, I tell me say she really love all the changes. If I don't know you picking my youth, me I telling me straight out. And I'm in business. Yeah. Big boots on me braids, man. Yeah, me not left me shades on. Special type of gun for this occasion. Hardcore, can't tip on me right hand. Everything talking real neat. Tell a boy I come just through him, no sit discreet. Him a trouble for breed. I am no shot. Me conscience it a speak. Rats and snakes, them throat get slit. Yeah, me give them the realness. Don't start freak out. When 200 million of me niggas them out. Yeah, shot in a face, shot in a
Hey, Shalom, Canada. All right, Shalom Akim, Shalom Akwathian, brothers and sisters. What's going on, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians? Yahbashim Shabbat Thumb, all the brothers. Yahweh Shema, Thabashim Yashad, all the sisters. Police Officer Shari Wan and the Commanding General Yahanna. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. All right, today's class is a brotherhood class. Okay, we're going to be speaking about brotherhood. Brotherhood being synonymous with sisterhood. Okay, they are one of the same. They are the same thing. Okay, in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we are teaching brotherhood to our people. What it truly means to be a good brother. Okay, a good father, a good husband, a good wife, a good friend. Okay, these are things that we're going to be teaching, that we teach inside of the Bible. All right. We'll be teaching this every Tuesday, okay? So make sure you stay tuned in with us. All right, make sure you like, share, subscribe to our page. We got the sign-in links in the chat. You can make sure you hit those sign-in links if you want to be a part of the school. Okay, and hit those sign-up links before the class ends. So we're going to get right into our topic. Okay. Today's topic is titled, "The Christian Church is the House of Satan." Okay. It's titled that because of all the disgusting things that have been going on inside of the Christian church. Okay. Got a couple articles I'm going to show. Okay, we're just going to scan through each of them one by one. We're going to go through it. Okay, and we're going to see some of the disgusting things going on in the Christian church. Okay, let's bring out a verse real quick. We're going to go to 1 Corinthians. The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6. And we'll start at verse 1. It says, "Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world?" Okay, this is something that Christ said that is going to happen. The saints shall judge the world. Many times, because of things like Christianity, people think that we shouldn't judge other people, that there's something wrong with judging other people, or there's something wrong with judging certain events or things that are taking place on the earth, things that people are doing and ways how people are acting. Christ said that the saints shall judge the world. And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? So not only are the saints going to judge the world, but this is a question. If it's our duty to judge the world, why wouldn't we judge the smallest matters? Okay? It's important for the saints to judge, because this place is a place that needs many judgments. You see, if you were to walk into a courtroom today and you have been found guilty of, say, physically abusing your wife, physically abusing your spouse, many times, sometimes more times than not, found physically abusing your husband, that judge is going to sit there and sentence you to what they deem necessary to give recompense to the person that went through what it is they went through. To give the city justice, to give the country justice, okay, to give the victims justice, to put somebody who is capable of harming other people out of civilization, away from the general population so that they can't harm another person. These are things that a judge will sentence. Why? Because this world needs justice. Christ understands that. The Most High understands that, and that's why he said the saints shall judge the world. And today we're going to judge the Christian church. We're going to judge some of these people who have done heinous crimes under the guise of Christianity. Something that's so beautiful in I.S.U.P.K is that we say we are not affiliated with any other organization. Unfortunately for Christians, they do not do that. Christians, I think, by today's statistic, and maybe that number is going down. That number could be going down. Let me see if I can look it up right now, really quick. How many Christians are in the world? Let's say 2023. So according to the Center for the Study of Global Christianity, there will be over 2.6 billion Christians worldwide by the middle of 2023. That's a lot of Christians, according to this study. Let's see. Let's try one more. This is annual statistics. This is from Annual Statistics of Gordon Conwell. It says, every year in the International Bulletin of Mission Research, we present an annual snapshot of global Christianity. It says the table provides a statistical overview of the world's 2.6 billion Christians and their activities. Let's see if I could get one more source. This is the Good Faith Media, Global Christian Population. It says, let's see if we can find a number. The 2023 report projects a Christian population of 2,662,979,000 in 2005. So in 2023, that their reports are projecting there will be 2.6 billion Christians by 2025. Let's see. I think that has given us a pretty good one. Let's see. This one says there will be over 2.6 billion Christians worldwide by the middle of 2023. Okay, according to Good Faith Media. So we got a couple different sources saying we got well over 2 billion Christians on the earth today. Okay, that's what the statistic is saying. And out of these 2 billion plus Christians, I find it very rare where Christians will say that they don't want to be affiliated with other Christians. That's not something that I hear. Now, I.S.U.P.K, we are absolutely not affiliated with any other organization. And since 1969, we have maintained a certain reputation, a very honorable reputation. Very honorable reputation based off of the way we act, the way we carry ourselves. And I fear for any brother who joins the school or any sister who joins the school who tries to shame the name of this school. And so, as Christ said, the saints shall judge the world. It's a very important thing that people maintain their reputation. People maintain their integrity. People maintain their honor. And what the Christian church has lacked to do or failed to do is maintain their reputation as honorable men and women. So much so that it's extremely common in the Christian church for people to say, nobody's perfect. Everybody sins. Everybody has fallen short of the glory of God. Nobody's perfect. These are sayings that the Christian church love to repeat over and over and over. I find it funny that anytime you're a brother who says, you may ask somebody, okay, if everybody sins, where is my sin? What am I doing right now that is falling short of the glory of God? And almost every Christian says, and will always say, is that, well, have you ever looked at a woman with lust? Which is a crazy concept in itself, because there is nothing wrong with looking at a woman who is beautiful and identifying her as a beautiful woman. That is not unlawful. What is unlawful, which Christ said, is to desire a woman that doesn't belong to you. Desire a woman specifically that belongs to another man. Why? Because adultery is sin according to God. Cannot be an adulterous person and be a man of God or a woman of God. You cannot commit adultery. But if there is a beautiful sister who doesn't belong to anybody, she is free, she is not married, there's nothing wrong at looking at that woman and desiring to have her. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how marriages are made. It's very natural and normal. But because of different weird perversions such as this one, as Christians believe that you can't even look at a woman, they believe that's sin, that there's so much evil inside of this Christian church. And we're going to run down through some of these, okay? Let's start off in this first one, okay? And again, this is I.S.U.P.K Toronto, I.S.U.P.K Canada. We cover stories that are mainly pertaining to Canada, mainly pertaining to things going on around us. Of course, we'll cover all news, any and all news, but we try to specifically target the things going on in Canada. And these are some of the things that have happened inside Canada that we're going to talk about. This is from CBC News, and they have a report that says it blames top Montreal church officials for ignoring complaints about priests who preyed on young boys. This is a news article. Okay, this is global news. This is national news. That's what this story made. This story made national news. And it's a report that blames the top Montreal church officials, people at the top, people who are in charge of the Catholic Church, the higher-ups. And they were ignoring complaints about a priest who preyed on young boys. That's what this article says. And here's a picture of this disgusting priest that did all manner of evil in the guise of being a man of God. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 7, and verse 15. Okay, Matthew chapter 7 and verse 15 says, beware of false prophets. Okay, this is something Christ said, beware of false prophets. You should beware. You should be aware ahead of time. Forewarned. This is something that it should be on your mind as you walk throughout the streets of Canada. When you leave your house and you're interacting with people. Nowadays, you're sitting on the internet. Maybe you're on YouTube and there's some Christian pastor speaking on YouTube. You're in Clubhouse. You hear some Christians speaking on Clubhouse, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. You see a web page of some Christian ministries. You see somebody who's calling themselves Christ. Christ said, beware of false prophets. When you encounter somebody like this, you should beware. He said, which come to you in sheep's clothing. So you should beware of a man who presents himself to be somebody fragile, somebody soft, somebody tender, somebody docile, somebody who's not aggressive. You should beware of these people. I wonder, let me see if I can find a video. Let me see, Catholic. Let's look up a Catholic priest. Make this full screen. Okay, let's share this real quick. This is something that's important. So all I did was I just Googled Catholic priest. I clicked videos. All right.
The sacrament of holy orders is the sacrament by which somebody is ordained a deacon, priest, or bishop in the church. Jesus told his apostles, "Do this in memory of me," and thereby instituted the priesthood at the Last Supper. The apostles then...
Christ said, beware of those in sheep's clothing. This man right here isn't dressed like he's ready to harm somebody. I wonder what the natural or what the general population believes when they see a man in a suit and tie. They see a man dressed like this. Does he have the appearance of somebody that's going to harm you? Or does he have the appearance of somebody who's harmless? These are things that you should ask yourself, because this is something that Christ said to beware of. He said, beware of those in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. When I see that man, I know inwardly he is capable of every foul, disgusting thing that you could ever think of that people do on this earth. I know that because of what the scriptures say. And I know that because of the history of the Christian church. I know their reputation. Let's get something in Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 12. Okay, Proverbs chapter 29 and 12 says, if a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked. I know that Catholic priest was listening to lies. I know the people that lead the Catholic Church, they all listen to lies. I know they teach things like Christ is a white boy. Yeah. I understand. I know they teach things like Christ is a white boy. I know they teach things like the laws of God are done away with. These are things that you don't find inside the Bible. And the Bible says if a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked. And the Catholic Church has been lying on the Bible for hundreds of years. Teaching you to celebrate, what do they call it? Palm Sunday, Ash Wednesday, celebrate Easter, celebrate Christmas. The Bible does not tell you to celebrate these things. Instead of celebrating Easter, you're supposed to be celebrating the Passover. And some people may understand that Easter is a translation of Passover. But yet in that Catholic Church, they are not celebrating the ordinances that were set forth back in the Old Testament. They're not celebrating the Feast of Unleavened Bread. They're not doing the things and keeping the ordinances that was put forth in the Old Testament. They're not even following the way Christ celebrated it, which was the way of the old ways. Christ and his disciples, they celebrated the Passover. Yet a Catholic will tell you that you should be like Christ, but they don't live the way that he lived. They don't celebrate the things he celebrated. They don't celebrate Hanukkah or HaKanukah. It's known as the Feast of Dedication in the Bible. Christ went and celebrated these things. That Catholic priest, he hearkens to lies. And the Bible says if you hearken to lies, all your servants will be wicked. All your servants are wicked. So these are things that we should be mindful of as we're looking to who is our quote-unquote spiritual leader, who is genuinely a man of God. Let me get one more verse, and then we'll go back into our articles. I'll share my screen for this, because this is a way where you can recognize who truly a man of God is. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 2 and verse 7. It says, "For the priest's lips should keep knowledge." When they're listening to a man of the Lord or a man of God, things that come out of his mouth matter. The things that comes out of his mouth mean something. And there's a way for you to recognize a priest. A true priest is a very knowledgeable man. He's a very knowledgeable man. A priest understands the Bible. He understands the laws, statutes, and commandments and how they pertain to life. Priest understands how people should live, how people should treat each other. Because that brother is very knowledgeable. So for the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth. True priest of God would seek the law of the Most High. They would love the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. They would appreciate the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. They would understand how important it is for brothers and sisters to keep the law of God. So as these priests are speaking, a true priest of God is going to be telling you to keep the laws of God, because he's knowledgeable. He understands what's good for people. He understands that eating pork is bad for you. Eating shrimp, crab, and lobster is bad for you. Inhaling cigarette smoke is bad for you. Smoking weed is bad for you. And a priest is going to tell you not to do these things. It says, for he is the messenger of the Lord. The real priest of God will give you the message of the Lord. And that message is to obey him. That message is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of God. Let's get one more verse to back that up. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. It says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. We're going to hear the conclusion to life. The whole matter. What is important when it comes to living here on this earth? It says, fear God and keep his commandments. That's what life is about. Keeping the laws of God. Being afraid of the judgment of breaking them. That's real fear. These Catholic priests and these Christian pastors, they don't fear God. They're not worried about their judgment. Because if they were worried, they would obey God. I don't know. I've heard countless Christian pastors say, I know eating pork is wrong for me. I know eating pork is bad, but Christ did away with all that. And now it's okay for us to eat pork. For many Christian pastors speak that way, especially Christian pastors who are from the tribe of Benjamin, from the Caribbean islands, from the West Indies. Seems all the Caribbean pastors know that eating pork is bad and that it can harm you, but because of Christianity, they tolerate it. It says, for this is the whole duty of man. Keeping the laws of God are the most important thing that you can do as a brother or sister. And that is what a messenger of the Lord is going to tell you to do, to keep the laws of God. Let me go back to that article Okay, it says a Montreal priest was able to sexually abuse 2 young boys and terrorize several others over a 20-year span because top officials in the Catholic Church ignored complaints about his behavior. So for 20 years, this Catholic priest went unchecked. For 20 years in the city of Montreal, this man was allowed to terrorize little children inside of the Catholic Church. Terrorize and abuse people who are defenseless. Children. Little children who are defenseless. And nobody said anything. What does that tell me? Tells me that the people that are above him are more worried about how the image of their church looks than giving justice to little children. No child should have to go through any form of terrorism or abuse like this, especially under the guise of people who are messengers of the Lord. You wonder why so many people are running from the Christian church. It's because they had an experience inside the church that told them and showed them God does not love me. The God of the Bible, the God of this church, the God that this priest is claiming to believe in and speak for, is allowing some of the most heinous crimes on earth committed to little children. This is why this class is titled The Christian Church is the House of Satan. Let's finish this one part. It says, these top officials in the Catholic Church ignored complaints about his behavior, and in some cases tried to keep serious allegations secret. Let's drop that. So not only did they leave that man unchecked, but they kept things secret. Meaning they knew certain things that were going on inside of that church, and they didn't tell anybody. They didn't tell nobody. These are supposed to be the messengers of God. Let's bring up another one. This is an article from the Jesuits of Canada. Or Slovakia. This is an article from CTV News. And it says, the Jesuits of Canada releases list of 27 members credibly accused of child sex abuse. in case anybody wanted to say, oh, that's just one priest. That's just one Catholic priest. They're not all like that. Again, that famous line, all have fallen short, all have sinned. Isn't that what Christians love to say? According to CTV News Canada, the Jesuits of Canada releases a list of 27 members credibly accused of child sex abuse. We have another thing going on in Montreal. The Jesuits of Canada have released a list of priests and brothers they say were credibly accused of sexually abusing minors over the past 70 years. So now we got another church. We got another organization. And in this organization, they have 27 credibly accused priests and brothers of sexually abusing minors. Let's drop that. Let's get another one, YouTube. This is from cbc.ca. It says, child sex abuse lawsuits reveal alleged warnings about priest years earlier. 2 alleged victims of late Reverend Dale Crampton also alleged sex abuse by late Auxiliary Bishop John B. Henn. We got another man claiming to be a messenger of the Lord. Who is once again sexually abusing I believe this one is little boys. Let's see what this one says. It says, sexually assaulted 7 altar boys in Ottawa. Ooh. I'm glad I didn't come to a conclusion and say that he was sexually abusing women. That almost seems normal or natural for a man to desire a woman. But not this quote-unquote man of God. This quote-unquote messenger of the Lord messing around with altar boys. I'm sure there's a study, and I bet it wouldn't be hard to look up or to find about all the abuse of minors that goes on inside of the Catholic Church. These articles are not hard to find. It's not hard to find. It's not hard to find because these acts being done to little children is extremely common. It's a natural thing for a Catholic priest to abuse little children. It's natural. That is what Catholic priests do. They abuse little children. The number of abused little children inside of that Catholic church is probably unfathomable to a person that believes that the God of Christianity is righteous, that the God of Christianity is moral. When people have this idea and concept of the Christian church, they think of, oh, these are good, fun-loving people. Let's get the book of Matthew, chapter 7. We'll start around 18. Let's go to Matthew chapter 7. I'll share my screen. Where am I? Let's get Matthew chapter 7, and we'll start at verse 17. It says, even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. And the Catholic Church has proven to bring forth evil fruit. Almost picture the Christian church as the tree, the root, the foundation. This is the parable that Christ is giving. And I'm damn near sure I could just pull up thousands of names of churches that say Christian foundational something something, foundation of Baptist, foundation of Anglican 7-day saints, and foundational truths, and foundation, because they pride themselves in being a safe place to make roots, safe place to bring your family and build up your family and build up your life from having this Christian church as my foundation. Christ said, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. And this is how you can tell. This is how you know where the real priests of the Lord are, where the real followers of Christ are. The real followers of Christ are going to have a foundation. And all the people that they send out on this, all the people that they send out in the world, they're going to have good fruits. They're going to have good behavior, good mannerisms. They're going to be men of integrity, honorable women, honorable sisters, honorable children. Because a good tree bringeth forth good fruit. If you're truly learning to follow Christ and truly following Christ, truly a disciple of Christ, truly a messenger of the Lord, you are going to bring forth good fruit. We're not going to be terrorizing and abusing little children. And as that man, that Catholic priest, is going around touching 7 altar boys, I wonder what lessons he was teaching his congregation to live by. I wonder if he was teaching his congregation that abusing little children goes against God. I wonder if he was doing that. Or I wonder if he was teaching his congregation, maybe he was teaching other men that you shouldn't look at women. You shouldn't lust after a woman. That's against God. Maybe that's what the Catholic priest was teaching. Maybe the Catholic priest was teaching men to do things that are unnatural. Unnatural. Let's get a Romans. What is it at? Romans chapter 1. Let's go to Romans 1 and verse. Let's start at verse 26. It says, "For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature." It's natural for a woman to sleep with a man. That's a natural thing. But when you go against things that are natural, God gives you up to vile affections. It's right there in the Bible. Leaving the natural use of a woman. A woman is not meant to lay down or have sexual relations with another woman. Vice versa, a man is not supposed to have sexual relations with another man. That is an abomination according to God. And these priests not only go as far to not even necessarily lay down with another man, but they're going around abusing little boys. That is a vile affection. That is a wicked, disgusting thing. I wonder if the Catholic priests were reading this verse. I wonder if that priest was reading Romans 1 and verse 26. I wonder if he told all those little altar boys how God feels about child abuse, about how God feels about, can I say that word on YouTube? Well, a man engaging in sexual relations with another man. These things are disgusting. These things are an abomination according to God. And this is what a so-called messenger of the Lord is charged with doing. Let's get some more. I think we got this one. Let's drop that. We got a couple here. Well, we got another one. This is from CBC. CBC.ca says, I told him about my problems. Priest's confession of child abuse used to boost case against Catholic Church. Under the photo, it says, in a confession before his death, defrocked priest Paul Andre Harvey alleged that over a 20-year period, when he served in parishes in the Saguenay region of Quebec, his direct supervisors were aware of his crimes against children and covered up for him. Uh-oh. We on the 4th article, YouTube. Before this quote-unquote messenger of the Lord, before this self-proclaimed priest of God died or was unalived, he confessed. Not only did he confess, but he let the public know that his superiors were aware of his crimes. They were aware of the things that he was doing. Let's read a little more on this one. It says, the confession of a Quebec priest made just before he died in prison is being used by his victims to try to hold the Catholic Church accountable for decades of child abuse. Right, let's go right here. This is his quote. I wish to inform you of the circumstances regarding the multiple charges of sexual assault over a period of 20 years. I was a priest in many parishes in the Diocese of Chicoutimi. My victims were female minors. Let's stop there. How many times have I spoke to fathers for the first time? We got a father and a mother that married, they just had a child. They got their first child, maybe the child's around 2 and 3 years old, and this family is deciding how they want to raise their child. I've had these conversations a couple times with people, and they start going into, should I get my child circumcised? Should I baptize my child? What church should I bring my child to? What church should my family go to? Where do I want to raise my family? And they're looking for a church, and they're looking for some kind of church leader so that they can have a safe place for their family to grow. This is something very common. And imagine how many families inside the Catholic Church thought that they were bringing their family to a safe place. Those 7 altar boys that were touched, abused as little children, did those families know that's where they were bringing their child? That's where they were bringing their son? Did they bring their child there to be abused by a priest? Be abused by somebody who claims to be a messenger of the Lord? Is that why that family went there? Or did they bring their family there because they believed it was a safe place? They believed that it was important to bring their family somewhere where they could worship God. And they could teach their children to worship God and obey God. What was going on in their minds? That particular priest, he was sexually assaulting, abusing little girls, abusing women. Not only was he abusing women, but again, this is another story where he's confessing while he's on his deathbed that his superiors all knew about it. They all knew about it. What do they call that in the world? Gang, gang? Gang, gang. Damn. You bring in your family to that church and you got a gang of leaders. Gang of leaders who aren't going to stand up for you. A gang of leaders who's going to tell you, be quiet. They're going to look at you and say, shh, don't say nothing. His superiors knew about it and said nothing. Is this who Christ said would be the men of the Lord? Did Christ say, beware of false prophets? Let's keep going. Got another article from CBC. It says, former pastor of Ontario megachurch faces 2 more sexual assault charges, police say. 2 more. What does 2 more mean? It means that this pastor has previous charges. Doesn't the government always say that registered sex offenders are likely to reoffend? So much so that they got to let the public know when these people are released to the public, so that people know not to let their family members and their loved ones around this individual. They mark them. They mark them in this society because they're disgusting pieces of Lord knows what. They're vile people, like God said. He gave them up to their vile affections. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Nizamana? What's going on, sis? Yahweh Shema Athal Bashim El Shah. Water for checking in. Right? God gave them up to vile affections. It says Bruxy Cavey was the primary teaching pastor at the Meeting House Church and worked there from 1996 to 2021, according to Hamilton Police. When Christ said, beware of false prophets, this is who he was speaking about. Because no real prophet of the Most High is going to go around assaulting and abusing women. It says the former pastor of the Meeting House in Ontario megachurch is facing 2 more sexual assault charges. Hamilton Police Constable of Hamilton says Bruxy was charged with 2 counts of sexual assault on December 22nd. Says Ernst didn't say what prompted the new charges or provide detail about when the alleged assaults took place, but he wrote it in an email on Thursday afternoon that KV will appear in court. He was the primary teaching pastor, and he worked there from 96 to 2021. He was charged with sexual assault in June 2022. He was 57 when he was first charged. So as this man is being charged, or was originally charged, as time goes on, more details about things that he has done is coming forth. More brave victims are coming out and letting the police know of what this man did to them. Christ said that ye shall know them by their fruits. You shall know them by their fruits. And this pastor, well, we're not speaking about a Catholic priest right now. We're speaking about a pastor. Your everyday pastor. You walk into a church on Sunday, and this is the man you see standing up on a stage or standing up on a pulpit giving a sermon. And he was in charge of a mega church. He's got thousands of people inside of his church listening to him. He's professing to be a messenger of the Lord, professing to be a man of God. You have men inside of this church who are looking up to this man. They're watching how this man is carrying himself, how he speaks, how he walks, how he talks, how he dresses, how his relationship with friends are, how his relationship with his wife is, or if he's by himself, his relationship with his co-workers, whatever it may be. They're looking at this man as somebody who is a representation of what it's like to be a disciple of Christ. And this man is sexually abusing women. I know you Christians love to say that I don't want to affiliate with the Catholic Church. Well, we're speaking about the Christian church right now. What do you have to say about this man? Let's drop that. Let's get another one. This is from CBC. It says, Regina pastor expelled over abuse of power with sexually explicit texts. Okay. So why are we speaking about this man? We got another Christian pastor. I bet every Christian jumped up when they saw that said, excuse me, that this is an issue of some kind of sexually explicit text. They probably saw that and said, oh, it's okay. That's my pastor. Maybe he just sent something inappropriate. No big deal. It's just a text message. You know, all men have a natural desire to be with a woman, and he was probably just sending some text to a woman. No big deal. But let's see what this is about. It says a Regina pastor has resigned and been stripped of his license to minister more than a year and a half after church leaders learned he had abused his power to prey on a woman in his congregation. So inside this church, people learned that there was something that he was doing to a woman in the congregation. And that he was abusing his power. What power did he have? He was the leader of the church. He is the pastor of the church. It says Jervin Weeks had been the lead pastor for more than a decade at Rosewood, one of 440 evangelical Protestant churches in the Christian Missionary Alliance in Canada. So this man affiliates with 440 other churches. What do we say in the I.S.U.P.K? We are not affiliated with any other organization. And there's a reason we don't affiliate with anybody else. We don't affiliate with anybody outside of the I.S.U.P.K. But this church has an alliance with 440 other churches. Let's get to what he did. So this is the man, this is the pastor. Let's read about what he did. It says CBC News has confirmed that 3 women complained to the church about sexual harassment or inappropriate behavior by Weeks in the past 2 years. So he had multiple women complaining about the way this quote unquote messenger of God was carrying himself. Let's see what he did. In April 2018, an external investigator informed church leaders, both local and national, that there was sufficient evidence in text messages to show Weeks had been grooming one victim for inappropriate sexual conversation, and that the inappropriate sexualized behavior was an abuse of power. Grooming is a process in which a perpetrator gains a person's trust, breaks down their defenses, and then begins to manipulate them for sexual purposes, according to sexual violence experts. So what was this pastor doing? This pastor was grooming a woman. He was grooming a woman. And he was using his position as a quote unquote messenger of God. You wonder why the title of this class is The Christian Church is the House of Satan. Lord knows what was in those text messages. Telling a woman something like, I am the authority for God here on earth. Telling a woman that you're a messenger of the Lord. that you're a man of God, using this woman's belief in God to manipulate a woman into doing sexual acts with you. Here's somebody from the church who says she was searching for help for herself, her kids, and her marriage. A friend invited her to attend Rosewood Park Church. Hunt sought counseling from Reverend Weeks. Soon after he started texting her, Hunt said it made her feel so special. She said she found a sense of belonging. She valued his guidance and put him on a pedestal. She says going down, she didn't trust her gut. She convinced herself to ignore red flags because he was a pastor. He helped her find a new place to live after her marriage broke down. She had started to stay off social media at night when she knew he might be online in order to avoid contact. Where she says the sexual nature of his text messages began to escalate. In 2017, he asked her that he liked her lips. He asked her whether she was good at oral sex. I'm not sure if I can say all these things on YouTube. Gags, screams in bed. He asked her if she likes men that are big, medium, or small. And after, he would encourage her to delete the text conversations. Hunt said that he felt guilty about the text exchange because Weeks was married. Uh-oh, Pastor. This is something, one of the main things that Christ came and fought against the Sadducees and Pharisees, it was hypocrisy. It was that the Pharisees were telling people to live a certain way, yet they themselves did not follow the rules. They themselves did not do the things that they believe in. Doesn't the Christian church teach that a man can only have one wife? The Christian church teaches that a man, that a man should only have one wife, that it's unlawful for a man to have multiple wives. That's what a Christian teaching is. He's in an alliance with 440 other evangelical churches, and they all teach the same thing. But yet he himself is trying to engage in sexual relations with a woman outside of his one wife. And God said in Romans 1:26, it's natural. It's natural for a man to have sexual relationships with a woman. That's a natural thing. Anything outside of what's natural, you're going to get caught up in doing something disgusting. And the messenger of the Lord should know that. Let's drop that. Let's keep going. You got more. This is just the beginning. This is from Christianity Today. It says Ontario's most influential pastor resigns following abuse investigation. These things run rampant in the Christian church. We already talked about that, man. Let's get this other one. It says, this is from CBC. It says officials unable to track down former Saskatchewan pastor at center of $25 million abuse lawsuit. Here we go again, Christians. You can't call yourself a Christian. Well, you can try to call yourself a Christian and try to disassociate yourself with all the wickedness inside of Christianity. Or you could do what we teach in the I.S.U.P.K, which is to never call yourself a Christian. You shouldn't affiliate with people who do all filthy types of crimes in this earth. You shouldn't affiliate yourself with priests who are abusing 7-year-old boys or 10-year-old boys. You shouldn't affiliate yourself with pastors who are abusing women, assaulting women, grooming women. You shouldn't affiliate yourself with these things. You shouldn't affiliate with anything that goes against God. And that's what Christ said. And we'll get that in the Bible after we read this real quick. It says, officials, what do we got? It says officials have been unable to track down a former Saskatoon pastor at the center of a $25 million lawsuit, but a judge has agreed to an unusual alternative. Pastor Keith Johnson is believed to be in Oklahoma, but has been evading officials, trying multiple ways to serve him with the lawsuit documents, according to court records. Saskatoon Court of King's Bench Justice Grant Curry agreed to a grant. A request made by Grant, the lawyer representing more than 30 former students and church members. This is the man right here. Let's see. See if it says what he says or what he did. Here we go. So this is what the lawsuit is about. It says the lawsuit was filed this summer against nearly 24 officials from the Christian Center Academy and Saskatoon Christian Center Church following a CBC News investigation. More than 30 former students are alleging they were subjected to widespread deprivations and violence that included sexual, physical, and psychological abuse, solitary confinement, and homophobic exorcisms. Good night. Now, I wonder if I asked the parents who sent their children to this Christian academy if they knew that this man was going to be sexually abusing, physically abusing, psychologically abusing, putting them in solitary confinement. Good night. But this Christian, this man right here, is your representation of a disciple of Christ, your representation of a prophet of God, your representation of a priest, a messenger of the Most High. Christ said, beware of those who come in sheep clothing. That's what Christ said. Be mindful of the people that present themselves in a certain way. Matthew chapter 10, verse 35. Oh. This is Matthew chapter 10 and verse 35. Yeah, bear with me 1 second. Let's see what's going on TikTok. Okay, we'll get into a couple precepts. Okay, we'll get into a couple precepts. And we can talk about it. Okay. So this is Matthew 10, verse 35. It says, "For I am come to set a man at variance against his father." This is what Christ said. It's crazy that that pastor has a church who's affiliated or in an alliance with 440 other churches. These Christians going around saying that they're in alliance with other Christians. Meanwhile, there's all this child abuse going on inside the Christian church. Christ didn't want you to affiliate with wickedness. He didn't want you to affiliate with everybody, to the point that he said, "I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughters against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law." That word variance means opposition. Christ didn't come and tell you to join in an alliance and allegiance with the whole world. Christians are always so worried about offending other people. When Paul said, "Though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge." Why was he rude in speech? He was offensive to other people. He offended people when he spoke. That is what a disciple of Christ would do. A disciple of Christ wouldn't present himself being in sheep's clothing. That's not how he would present himself to be. It says, "And a man's foes shall be they of his own household." So now, why as a Christian would you affiliate with 440 other churches? Why would you affiliate yourself with the 2.6 billion people who identify themselves to be Christian? 2.6 billion people in 2024 are identifying themselves as Christian. And you got these priests going around abusing little children, abusing little altar boys, abusing young women and grooming young women in the name of being a man of God. And you yourself are affiliated with these people. Shoot. Matter of fact, now that we're live on TikTok, I bet every Christian is going to jump up in the comments. Someone's going to raise their hand and say, "Bring me up live. Bring me up to your platform. I'm a real Christian." That's what they say. I'm a real Christian. I'm not like those other Christians. You affiliate yourself with wickedness. You affiliate yourself with all manner of evil. Like it says in Romans 1:26, God gave them up to vile affections. You got Christians going around teaching that it's okay for a man to be with a man. You got Christians teaching it's okay for a woman to be with a woman. God called this an abomination. And now you priests are going around abusing little altar boys, abusing little children. That is a vile affection. It's disgusting, man. Let's drop that. Let's get Let's get one more verse. Let's go to Romans chapter 1, verse 26. Romans 1, verse 26, and we can talk about that for a little. I'll end the live on YouTube. We'll see if there's anybody on TikTok who wants to ask any questions or bring any comments. Okay, maybe we'll be live for maybe 20 minutes or so on TikTok. We're just ending the class on YouTube. So this is Romans chapter 1, verse 26. Let me share my screen, YouTube. Okay, this is Romans 1, and we'll start at Romans 1 and verse 25. It says, who changed the truth of God into a lie? You want to know who changed the truth of God into a lie? Your Christian pastor, your Catholic priest. What does it say in the book of Psalms? I think it's 119, 140, maybe 147. It says, thy law is the truth. Who changed the truth of God into a lie? Who told people that they don't have to keep the laws of God? Who told people that it's okay to eat pork? Who told people it's okay for a man to lay down with another man? You got grown men in 2024 wearing adult diapers because of what another man is doing to them. You got men, grown men, who are taking painkillers every day so that they can endure what is going to happen with their male partner in the evening. Wearing adult diapers because they can't keep the thing from running out of their backside. God called that a vile affection. Who changed the truth of God into a lie? The Christian church did. The Christian church said you don't have to keep the laws of God. That's why you got thousands of priests being locked up, being hid by their superiors, but all the child abuse being done inside of those churches. Because the Christian church is the house of Satan. It says, and worshiped and served the creature more than the creator. Christians going around worshiping that image of that white Jesus. Worshiping a false image. Something that is a lie. Worshiping idols inside of that Christian church. Christians going around celebrating Easter. Celebrating Easter. The Queen of Heaven, Ishtar. That's where that word comes from. Not in that Christian church celebrating Passover like God commanded you to celebrate. Worshiping all different types of idols. Teaching that bunny rabbits lay eggs. Just lying to their kids about everything pertaining to God. Verse 26 says, for this cause God gave them up unto vile affections. Vile affection is a priest abusing a little boy. A vile affection is a pastor abusing a little woman, grooming a young girl to do all sorts of disgusting things. How many cases do we see of these different pastors and priests and ministers doing all sorts of wickedness? Christ said, you shall know them by their fruits, and the fruits of Christianity is disgusting. Every jail cell is full of Christians and Muslims, full of Christian drug dealers, full of Christian abusers of women, forcing themselves on women, selling women, all sorts of disgusting things in the name of Christianity. So like God said, for this cause he gave them up unto vile affections. They don't teach to keep the laws of God. It says, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. Every Christian, they always love to say, everybody has sinned. And they always love to go to, have you ever, as a man, ever lusted over a woman? That's what every Christian says. You ever lusted over a woman? God says that's natural. It's natural for a man to be attracted to a woman. But you pastors and you priests going around saying that you're not allowed to look at a woman, it's a sin. Teaching that Mary was some holy person, some righteous person because she never had sex. And sex is beautiful. God said, be fruitful and multiply. Something wrong with the Christian church. This is why God gave them up unto vile affections. This is why priests are going around touching little boys. The Christian church is the house of Satan. And Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans need to come out of that church. So with that, YouTube, Thawada for tuning in. We got another brother of the class. Okay, Thawada for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to our page. Okay, we'll be live again. We'll be live all week. We got law class tomorrow. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, YouTube, for our Wednesday night law class. Okay, so with that, I'm going to say shalom. Shalom to the brothers. Yahba Hashem Hashabrak Thumb, and Yahweh Shamar Allah Thab Hashem Yahshai to all the sisters. Water for tuning in.